Is common sense the same as wisdom? Stay tuned right here to find out why it's important to know the difference. Hi everyone, welcome to Visibly Fit. I'm your host, Wendie Pett. The Bible says that wisdom is the gateway to everything that we desire in life. So if that's the case, then why wouldn't we get wise, right? Why? Pastor Bob Merritt of Eagle Brook Church, my home church of 15 years, is here with me today to share about the value of wisdom through his own experiences and those that went before us, so that we may begin to make great decisions, not just today, but every day. Welcome to Visibly Fit. It is a real honor to have you here.
Thanks, Wendy. You're honored to be with you today.
Gosh, this is awesome. It's taken me 2 years to get you on the show.
Well,
You're a hard man to reach.
Sometimes, yeah. Thanks.
Well, I'm going to dive right in because there's so many things that I want to ask, and I believe that you'll supply the audience with as far as your wisdom and knowledge and all the experiences you've been through to help us out today. But you are a pastor of a multi-city church. So it's vital to have wisdom, right? It's not just a necessity. I mean, it's not just one of those things that, yeah, we need wisdom. It's vital, right?
Yeah, it really is. To be a leader of a church like this surprises even me. It took me by surprise. I never dreamed of being in this type of position, leading really so many people, a staff of 200 people, a church of 20,000, is something that was never in my wildest dreams. And so I really have to be careful to every single day thank God for that. I guess it's a gift to be able to be in this position, but also the responsibility. I take it very seriously that God is the one who is behind all of it. I owe all praise and glory go to him for whatever he wants to do in my life. Never asked for it, never looked for it, but for whatever reason, God, has put me in this situation, and I just need all the wisdom I can possibly get from him to sustain what's been placed in my lap.
For sure. Well, I've always heard the phrase that the least likely is the most likely. And so with your humble spirit, and you didn't have this plan and vision on your life, but God did, and he knew that he could use you in a mighty way. So I just thank you for stepping up to the plate.
Oh, thank you.
It's a great thing.
Thanks.
So what is the difference between wisdom, knowledge, and even common sense, and how do we access all three?
Well, there are differences. Sometimes there's subtle differences between knowledge and wisdom, particularly. Knowledge is something that typically you can read about in a book, you can go to school, and you can acquire knowledge in a lot of things. But we all know of really, really smart people who are knowledgeable in a discipline or in an area of study, for example, even knowledgeable in the scriptures, but aren't very wise. They make decisions, they make choices that are harmful to themselves, harmful to others. I've had professors who were much smarter than me, very knowledgeable, make incredibly poor decisions in their life. When I was at Penn State, I watched my professors, just mess up their personal life in an incredible way. So you can be very knowledgeable about things and not be very wise. And I think wisdom comes from a deeper place.
Right. And we get wisdom from getting in and digging into God's word. I mean, that's where we learn the ways of life in all areas of life. He tells us it's in the instructions.
Well, God is the source of all wisdom. He's the source of all knowledge as well, but God is the source of all wisdom. And so the Bible is God's word and words to us. And so for us not to be reading God's word on a regular basis
is not wise.
is not wise, because that is where wisdom is.
Right.
And wisdom is so vital to our lives.
It is. Well, you remind us in your book, Get Wise, Make Great Decisions Every Day, and it is a great book, a good read. You have to check this out. You can get it on Amazon or even at the bookstore, but if you're not here local, go to Amazon. Mm-hmm. But you remind us that James 1 said, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, and it will be given to you. So do you think that it takes just asking God or a level of belief that you'll receive that wisdom from God as well?
that verse that you just quoted, ask God for wisdom and he will give it to you. I take that seriously. God is our Father. When my children ask me for things as their dad, I am more likely to give it to them if they don't ask. So I think God is looking for a soft spirit toward him, a humble spirit toward him, a receptive spirit toward him. And so when I go to him as my Heavenly Father every single day and say, God, would you grant me your wisdom? I need your wisdom for this day or for this week or for this season in my life. Will you give that to me? And I think God, in his generous spirit as my Heavenly Father, honors that. I was just with a CEO yesterday of a company here in Minneapolis. And he said, Bob, every single day before I leave for work, he has 3 daughters who are high school, one's in college. Every single day before I go to work, I kneel down on my stairs and I pray for wisdom for that day, but also protection over my 3 daughters and my family. And I just think that's wise. I think that God honors a man like that who humbles himself every single morning and says, God, I need you. Mm-hmm. And will you protect me and guide me and give me what I need for this day? And so, I think that's where wisdom comes from. And I don't know how it all works, but I think God, by his Spirit, leads us during the moments of every single day, giving us the wisdom, even when we're not even aware of it, in our spirit, with a conversation with somebody or a difficult situation we may face. So God is the source, and I think it's just the thing we should do is start with him and say, God, I need you in my life today. I need your wisdom. Will you give it to me? And I think he will.
Yeah, and especially in this day and age where it's a me kind of thing. And I got this, I don't need God. If we just seriously are broken and humbled enough to say, I do need you. I can't do this on my own. I have no clue how to do this. And he'll carry us through.
I think that me thing, there's a couple of problems with that. There's arrogance in there. Mm-hmm. There's also just a self-deception.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're honest with ourselves, I'm as messed up as anybody.
Totally,
and
we all are.
I'll tell you what, I need the help of other people, the help of God for sure. If it's just, I'm going to do this myself, that is just self-deceptive and ultimately destructive.
Yeah. Okay, right. Well, in Isaiah 33:6, it says that the key to the treasure of wisdom and knowledge is the fear of the Lord. And so my question is, do you think that we as Christians, we have kind of a tough time really knowing how to fear the Lord these days? Do we really understand how and what it means to fear the Lord?
Yeah, it's a difficult word or concept when you first read it. We're not supposed to be afraid, I don't think. I don't think we're supposed to live in fear. The Bible says, have no anxiety about anything, but in everything in prayer and supplication, bring your requests to God and he will answer them. So it's not to be in constant anxiety or fear. I'm afraid of God. Right. But it's that humble spirit again that we just talked about, this receptive God. You are so great. You are so beyond me. You are the source of all wisdom. I need you. And it's just, so that fear of the Lord is that reverence, I guess, that openness to him that I live with every single day. It's not about me. I need him every step of the way. So that's really the fear or the reverence of the Lord in my life that I'm looking for.
Yeah, so it's that reverence and that surrender to it all. Right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, good. Well, we have to take a quick break. This goes by so quick, and you have such great information and wisdom. And but we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to go a little bit deeper in just a minute on this topic. So don't go away. Have you ever told anyone, go walk it off? Well, it turns out that's great advice. It's great for you mentally, physically, and spiritually. Hi, I'm Wendie Pett, fitness and wellness expert and creator of the Visibly Fit exercise and wellness system. With Walk It Off Now, it's a 6-week walking workout program. You'll get 6 weeks of online videos right to your email inbox. You get an ebook, a walking journal, plus access to my private Facebook community to keep you accountable. So what are you waiting for? Go to walkitoffnow.com and join me. Welcome back, everyone, to Visibly Fit. Being wise in all areas of your life is crucial. Wise in your health, wealth, relationships, intimacy, parenting, friends, and even your efforts. Pastor Bob Merritt is here to dissect this just a little bit more for us today and share ways that we can get wise and start making great decisions each and every day. So, Pastor Bob, I'm so glad you're here. Before the break, we were talking about just different things about getting wise and where does wisdom come from. But now I want to talk a little bit about finances, because finances kind of seem to be that area where a lot of people fall short in the space of wisdom. So what are your thoughts on that? And I know a lot of people tend to buy emotionally versus wisdom-like. And I want to know, what is the most foolish thing that you've ever purchased in your life?
Okay. So first question, just wisdom with finances.
Yeah. Why is it a struggle?
It's a struggle.
Why do we
We are marketed to daily, constantly, and we compare. I mean, we see what somebody else has, and we want that, thinking that's going to make us somewhat happy, and maybe it will a little bit. Nothing wrong with having things, nothing wrong with purchasing things, but for the longest time in my life, I was very, very poor. My wife and I have been poor longer than we've been able to, have a little room in our finances. So right out of the gate, we just said, we're going to give 10% to God, no matter how much we make or not make. My first job as a pastor, I'd earned $12,000 a year. I mean, we were just penniless.
Wow.
But we tithed, and we said 10% belongs to God. He gave us life. He gives us breath. That's where we're going to start. And God has honored that in incredible ways. I think I'm sitting here today with you, Wendie, 58 years old now, leading this church, so blessed. And I think it started way back when I said, we're going to keep God first in our life. So 10%, live within your means. We never, I shouldn't say never, but I don't think we have spent more than we earned, on a regular basis. We just live, bad cars, used cars that would fall apart, carpeting that needed replaced. But we just lived with it because we didn't want to. We made a decision. We don't want to be in debt.
It's a wise one.
It's a decision ahead of time. We don't want to be in debt. And so we're going to live within our means. And if God increases our income, maybe we can, increase our standard of living a little bit. But we just kept that. The main decision was, we're not going to go into debt except for a mortgage or school.
Right.
And we think those two things pay off eventually. But outside of that, we just refuse to go in debt. And so living within that wise choice helps you make decisions the rest of the way.
Absolutely. And that's that obedience. He honors it. Okay, that is great. And that wisdom and that obedience, it pays off, and God honors that. But I know there's been something in your life that you have purchased unwisely. So what is it? What's that big purchase?
Well, it came from a good place in my heart, actually. It was a gift from my wife. And I was in India, of all places, long time ago. I was on a mission trip of some sort. And the bus pulled up to a jewelry store, an emerald, and I was looking at emeralds, and I sat there looking at this emerald for the longest time, and I finally bought it for $450. And back then, I didn't have that. But I thought, this is going to knock my wife out and, make her happy and everything else. That emerald is still sitting in a drawer at home. She's never put it on a necklace or ring or anything like it. It just sits there.
Oh.
So anybody wants a $450 emerald that's sitting in my house at home. And that was a bad purchase right there.
Oh, wow. That is hilarious. Well, give it to your daughter.
She doesn't want it. I don't know why.
All right. So that was a bad purchase.
It was.
Right. Okay. So since this show is called Visibly Fit, and it's about being fit, mind, body, spirit, I have to go here because I want your thoughts on what is, being wise as how we feed and fuel the temple of the Holy Spirit, how we're exercising it. What's your take on that? And the perspective, your perspective, and biblically speaking, on how it is in the church these days, our health. It's kind of like we tend to set that one aside. What do you think?
I just feel good when I eat right.
Right.
And exercise. Some of my staff accuse me. They say, Bob, you're just good at this. You're just a disciplined person. You have the disciplined chip. I mean, it comes easy for you. I'll tell you what, pulling into the fitness center 3 or 4 times is not easy. I hate it. I mean, it's just this little box place, but it's close to work and it's convenient, and that's where I go. And I work out 4 or 5 times a week there. I ride my bike. For me, Wendie, it's more than just physical. That physical fitness it helps me release things in my mind and in my spirit that I need. It releases tension. There's those little funny endorphins that go out
Yeah.
throughout your body that make you feel
Feel
better
good.
about yourself. And so
You get more energy for all that God's
fitness
got.
is very important to
Yeah.
me, but I've been an athlete all my life, so part of that is just part of my routine, my discipline, my normal way of living. It's hard to talk about in church.
Why?
Well, especially with regard to eating and the physical part of it, because it's so visible.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about greed and selfishness and things like that, because those are invisible to some degree. But when you're talking about fitness, I can actually see if you're out of shape. I can, and so if I'm a pastor and I'm going to address this issue of being overweight, all of a sudden, everybody who's overweight is like, you know, and so it's very difficult to talk about. I think for me, I try to model it.
Mm-hmm. You do a great
And
job.
just try to give people something to shoot for, visibly. But yeah, we are the temple of God's Spirit. I think we abuse our bodies in so many ways. But who does that hurt? It
Well, it
really
hurts God.
Well, it hurts God.
And it hurts those
It's
around us.
because we're a reflection of
Right.
who God is. And yeah, if we're sloppy in our appearance, it hurts our witness, I believe, to other people. So I'm just big on, to me also, it's an indication that other parts of our life are probably a little bit out of whack as well. If I can't manage my physical body by being fit, eating right, there are probably other areas of my life that are also not being managed well. So it's really important. It's hard to do. I give a lot of grace to people who are trying and struggling, and
Sure.
it's a very difficult thing.
Yeah. Well, I know it is a touchy subject, but I had to bring it up because it is one of those that my heart is really passionate about, and I strongly believe that if we're not physically able to do what God's called us to do, then we're missing the mark on some levels, right? So
Can I just say one little other
Please.
thing? I just think for some people it's more of a struggle than for others.
For sure.
I really
For sure.
do. And I just want to give some grace there.
Absolutely.
That, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good. Now, I know you're an outdoorsy kind of guy. You talk about it at church. You know, you fish, you hunt, you golf, you do all that stuff. And my son loves that. He's 15, so he
Okay.
relates with that really well. But I'm just curious, you know, do you have a weakness when it comes to food and activity in general, since we're talking about the food and the activity stuff, or not really?
I do. I love chocolate. I love chocolate brownies and ice cream after a nice meal in the evening. So, I mean, I'm not this rigid,
Right.
you know, it's moderation though. I've really cut down in the amount of sweets that I eat. It's
Yeah.
just a moderate thing, but I enjoy life, and chocolate
Right.
is a gift
Right. And you've got a very
from
high,
God.
It is.
I mean, it's
that's
an
true.
absolute,
And you've got a very high metabolism. You
I
know,
do.
And you're out there running it off. So I was just
so that is a weakness, but what are you going to do?
It's not a weakness, you know, you got to live a little. It's okay. All right, so birds of a feather, they flock together, right? And so you and your wife, Lori, you've done an excellent job in raising your children from
Thank you.
what I hear from you in your sermons and what I've seen with the folks around your children. But and all that discipline, you're now seeing the fruit of your efforts. What's one story that sticks out in your mind as far as being wise with parenting that you'd like to share with us and handling a situation with your children?
Yeah, you never stop being a parent. So when my son was in college, sophomore year, they moved off campus, he and a bunch of friends. And they got teamed up with a few other guys too that they weren't really close to or didn't know, but they were going to rent this house together. And I began hearing things about this house, and that it was a party house, and a lot of drinking, a lot of partying. And I thought, I could either just let it ride, not say anything, or I could step into that. And I gave it a lot of thought, and I wanted my spirit to be right. I didn't want to embarrass my son or shame him. But on a Saturday, I went over to his house unannounced and walked through the garage door. It was open. There were bottles there by the garbage, and knocked on the door, and one of his roommates came to the door and was surprised to see me.
I bet.
And he said, yeah, David's in his room studying. I went over and knocked on his door. He was shocked to see me unannounced. I'd never been to the house before. And I said, Dave, can I talk to you a little bit? He said, sure. Sat down in his bed, and I said, you know, you're an adult. You're going to make your own decisions. We've taught you what we value and what we think is right and wrong. And I said, I've heard this is a party house, and I don't know if you're involved in that, but I said, as your dad, I love you, and I want you to know that I hope you're not involved. But I said, underage drinking is also against the law. And I said, your name is important to you and to me. But again, I respect you and love you as my son. And I just want you to know, I hope you're not involved in this. And I hope also that you can be a leader to your friends. And he thanked me. That was about it. It left. And all I can say, I'll finish it, just say, you know, it was a tender moment. It was kind of an embarrassing moment for him a little bit. I tried not to embarrass him. I didn't even call him out, really. But he responded to that. And he actually became the leader of a Bible study in that house, and they addressed that issue.
Wow.
And so, you know, I think parents, you never stop. I think there are times when it's time to move in on something like that. I think far too many parents just go like, well, it's none of my business. I think that's a huge mistake.
I agree.
And maybe it'll turn south, but you know what? Kids kids will always listen to that voice of their parent if they know that their parent loves them and has the best interest for them. So being a parent's tough.
It is.
And that's one time when I just thought, God, I need your wisdom. Help me.
Good. That's good. And that was very wise not to want to
Yeah.
pounce on them and say, but you had that gentle, soft spirit that only God could deliver through you, and you picked up on that. So that's very wise. I love it. Well, would it be wise of me to ask you to stick around, because we have another break to go to, but we got to do some exercises. Would you do some exercises?
I can do some exercises.
All right.
Sure.
All right, good. We'll stay right where you are, because we'll be right back, and we'll show you a few Visibly Fit exercises that you can do anytime, anywhere. Have you ever told anyone, go walk it off? Well, it turns out that's great advice. It's great for you mentally, physically, and spiritually. Hi, I'm Wendie Pett, fitness and wellness expert and creator of the Visibly Fit exercise and wellness system. With Walk It Off Now, it's a 6-week walking workout program. You'll get 6 weeks of online videos right to your email inbox. You get an ebook, a walking journal, plus access to my private Facebook community to keep you accountable. So what are you waiting for? Go to walkitoffnow.com and join me. Welcome back to the show. Before the break, Pastor Bob Merritt taught us a lot about how to get wise. Now let's move on to our physical health. Bob was gracious enough to stick around for this one. And so, I want to make sure that you join us as well with these exercises, because you can do them anywhere, anytime. And so it's now that time, and it's now that place. So let's do this. So, Bob, I know you're big into working out, and you go to a health club and this and that, but God gave us our gym. Our body is our gym, so you don't always have to go to the gym. So I wanted to show you a couple things that you could do while maybe you're traveling on missions trips, or when you're out fishing and hunting and that kind of thing, to pass by the time. But they're basically moving isometrics is what Visibly Fit is all about. And so what I want to show you is, if you'll step back just a little bit, I'm going to have you put your arms all the way out like this, all right? And I want you to have flexion and contraction all the way through your upper body. So you're already flexed, all right? And I want you to move your arms forward as if you're trying to squeeze against one of those big exercise balls. All right? Good, good. And you have that same level of tension and resistance as you move back. Does that make sense?
It does.
Kind of weird, but
it is
all right,
weird.
Turn around. Let's see. I'm going to push against you, because really God gave us a mind that is so powerful that we can create the resistance or the weight without it actually being there, okay? So, arms out.
Yep.
I'm gonna push against you just so you can feel this. Go ahead and press towards me. Come on, I thought you worked out. Good, good, good. And use that same level of tension on the way back.
Okay.
Go. Good. Good, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Oh, okay.
All the way back. Good. And the way you can remember this is, I caught a fish this big. Because that's what he always says when they're probably little.
No,
right?
come on. No, great.
I'm just kidding. That's awesome. So you would do those like 10 or 12 times. You can feel it. I mean, your heart
Yeah, you
already
can.
gets pumping. You can feel it all in your pecs and your arms. So nice job.
Nice.
Good. I hope you were doing those with us. Those are great for your upper body, your biceps, triceps, shoulders, chest, back, all of that. So the next one I want to show you is the bow and arrow.
Nice.
This is actually in honor of Bob. It's not called the bow and arrow, but since he's a hunter, that's what we're going to do. So let's set up our bow. All right.
Okay.
We're going to use that same level of tension as we pull back that arrow. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Nice and tough. Now we're not going to let it go. We're going to actually push it back through. And breathe.
Yeah, I forgot to breathe. I'm gonna pass.
Please don't pass out. Good, so pull it again.
So you
feel
just keep
that?
your muscles taut, right?
Yes, you keep them really tight
Yeah.
and then push through. Feel that?
Yeah, it's not fun. At all.
Why not?
Well, it just
Because
isn't.
it's work, right?
It is work, yeah.
So you're building muscle, you're shedding fat. Not that you have any fat to shed,
I've
but
got a little.
But it doesn't put stress on your joints or your tendons. And so that's the
Interesting.
beauty of this type of working out, is that when you're lifting weights,
Right.
what happens is once the belly of the muscle is fully fatigued, all that weight and the stress of the gravity and the weight itself puts stress right here. Tendon,
Interesting.
tennis elbow, you get a lot of
I was going to
injury.
say, you know what? Why not just lift weights? That's
Yeah,
the reason.
That is the reason. I mean, if you lift weights, great, but maybe go down in size. You don't need the weight. I mean, you can actually create the weight, again, by just thinking about how heavy you're lifting. So do a bicep curl, right? How much are you lifting right now?
I don't know.
Well, think about it. Think about it. Yeah, you're lifting a lot. So you would go ahead and do that without the weight being there,
Interesting.
all right? And then slowly bring it back down.
And this is called what?
It's called Visibly Fit.
Well,
So,
Yes.
moving isometrics.
yeah, that's
yes. Yeah, which is an oxymoron, because usually an isometric is what? Static contraction,
Okay.
right? One arm working against the other. So like if you're lifting weights and you have weights and you hold it right here, that's an isometric,
Okay.
where you're just steady. But if you're moving with that same level of tension and flexion, it's a moving isometric.
Okay.
Do you have anything in particular that you'd like to just kind of share with our audience directly, and whether it's a prayer or something just special that's on your heart right now that you'd like to end?
Yeah, I would just say that God is for you, and God loves every one of you. He loves me as well, and you, Wendie. And God's given us His Word, and He invites us to read it and to participate in life with Him. And so we're all at different stages of spiritual growth and physical fitness as well.
Sure.
But God is for you, and God wants to bless your life in any way possible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're
Yeah.
the best.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. All right. Well, you guys check out his book on Amazon. It's Get Wise, and it's making great decisions every day, right? So check that out. Make sure you get it. It is an awesome, awesome read. So thank you, Pastor Bob Merritt, for being on the show.
right.
And thank you all for joining me. And if you want to catch me on social media, please join me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, all those social media things. And until next time, I will see you right here next week on Visibly Fit.